BitBilly says, I don't understand the fear of plugging my Jade into my computer. If I already have, is there anything I can do? So BitBilly, and I don't want to scare people here. Like, that's not my intention. Here, I'll bring this back up. It's not my intention to scare people here. I just think people should be aware of it. And my own perspective here is almost like I just don't understand it enough. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. You plug something into a device, what happens there? What happens with the connection? What does the computer keep a copy of, and where does that copy go to? Like, these are things that I don't know, and I don't pretend that I know that. And I'm saying that because I don't understand it and know what's happening there, I just don't trust it. And so the reason I like the cold card and the SD card or the QR, with the SD, when you pop it in the computer, even though it's connecting to a computer, when you open up that file, that folder, you can see exactly what's being stored on that SD card. There's nothing hidden there. That's the air gapped aspect of it. So what I would say there is, like, anybody who's like watching this now and worrying about this, like, don't panic. That's the first thing I'd say is, like, don't panic. Don't do anything stupid. The last thing you ever want to do in Bitcoin is like panic. So what you could do there, and what I would suggest anybody who has plugged in with a Trezor, with a Ledger, with a Jade, whatever it is, the thing I would do there is I would order a cold card today, order a cold card, and get it set up, do everything properly, write down your 24 words, don't have a camera around, do everything like as best you possibly can. And then you move all your Bitcoin to your cold card, or half of it, or whatever you feel comfortable. You can still leave some on your Jade. You move some to your cold card. You think that that's a much safer place there. And then eventually you get a third device. So now you have a Jade, you have a cold card, and maybe you get a Trezor, or you get a secondary cold card, or anything. And then you make a multisig out of those 3 devices. And then you move all your Bitcoin to that new wallet that has a multisig within it. And once you get into a multisig, I would say it's pretty much bulletproof. Then you move to the next stage, which is encrypting all of your recovery phrases. And that's kind of like the final boss in Bitcoin to me. You have no trace of Bitcoin in your house. You have a small amount of Bitcoin on your phone, Aqua Wallet. You maybe keep 2 or 3% of it on your phone. And then the rest is just kind of there. You have maintained full access to it, or full ownership and control of the keys. You don't have to trust anybody with it. That's the only problem with the multisig, is that you have to leave 2 different devices in 2 different locations. And so you have to trust those people. With encryption, you can hide whatever you're storing at those places where the person has no idea what it is. They have no idea how much Bitcoin you have. They have no way to access it. So that's what I would say there. If you're kind of worried about that, I would buy at least 1 cold card today, maybe even order 2. And I've been trying my best to kind of scream this to people, like, just kind of understand where we are right now and what's coming here. Because even if you're not fully ready to get into, like, send all your Bitcoin to a cold card, I would still suggest ordering one today. Because when we go through this bull run here in the next, 6-7 months, there's going to be a lot of people whose Bitcoin have gone up in value. And there's going to be a lot of people who are looking to buy a hardware device. And so not only is the supply going to be, it's going to be hard to get. There's going to be lots of demand. Supply is going to be harder to find. Prices will probably go up. Plus, with all this shit going on at the borders between countries and stuff, like, I think that they're going to start holding these devices up at the border. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm saying it could happen. And I think that postal workers and border agents and everybody's going to be much more informed and knowledgeable about what these things are. And eventually it's going to get to a point where they're going to start intercepting these things and maybe loading some malware onto there that you're completely unaware of. So get ahead of it. Again, even if you don't plan on using it right away and getting it set up, just get it into your possession, get it into your house. Get ahead of this stuff. And again, this might not happen. but that's not the point. The point is that it could. So I'll share a couple different links here for everybody here in the chat. You know, if you're interested with this, with the coin kite there, with the cold card, you get 5% off with that link. You could also get a secondary jade from our friends at QuickBit. You get 15% off with that link. So the first one there is coin kite. That's the cold card. The second one there is the jade. And I would suggest getting a couple different ones. You could go all cold cards, you could go all jades, but I kind of like doing different manufacturers just in case. Because the nice thing about that is if you had 3 different manufacturers, let's say you had a jade, a cold card, and Trezor. The nice thing is, like, if Trezor, if all the private keys got released or something bad happened, your Bitcoin's still fine because that's only one part of your multisig. You can't do anything with one signature in that setup, which is a big deal. So with multisig, you need 2 signatures. And if one has been compromised, if either cold card, block, or CoinKite, Blockstream, or Trezor, if one of them, you know, goes rogue, your Bitcoin's still safe. Multisig eliminates that single point of failure for you. So there's a couple. And the other thing too, the last thing that I would say on this in terms of like getting ahead of it is get yourself a start 9. I'll put the code in there too. This is the code for both QuickBit and the start 9. Use 88 sats, and I think you get 15% off and 5% off. Anyways, it's definitely worth it to do. But start 9 is another one. I think that these things are going to start. You never know. You just never know. Might get held up at the border. You might get some stuff put into there that you're unaware of. Like, just get this stuff if you have the financial means to do it. If you don't, then don't worry about it. There's nothing that you need to, you know, concern yourself too much with. But if you have the financial means to be doing this and you got a significant amount of Bitcoin, you should 1000% be doing this. Like, don't procrastinate here. The worst thing that you can do right now is procrastinate on this kind of stuff.